Hello my friends, my name is Lindsay. I run the blog Books for Christian Girls, and welcome back to the little corner of the internet where I talk mainly about Christian fiction, and welcome to a book haul. I typically do a book haul about twice a year, every 6 months or so on this channel for the last couple of years, and I think that works out really well. I think it gives everyone something to look forward to because you know this is coming. And actually with this book haul, like every other book haul, I'm very excited about it. But what's different about this book haul is that I've actually read the majority of these books. I counted them and there's roughly about 60. So you could say that's like 10 books a month. That's not the best. I'm still aware that I should be doing better on that. But that really only happened in June because my birthday is here in June. So that's why. I only bought 3 books in May, 6 books in February, 6 in March. I was doing really good until June happened. And yeah, well, it's my birth month. So that's why. So elsewise though, I think I did really well because this is about 60 books and then there's some pre-orders and whatnot. And I have read all but 17 of them. And you know, I don't think that's too shabby. If I put my mind to it, I could read those 17 books in a single month. That's not going to happen, but I could. So I don't think that's too shabby for a 6-month check-in. As always, I'm going to answer some frequently asked questions about my book buying before we get into this, but if you already know this spill, you can skip ahead. Number 1, I have not read all of these books, like I just said, so I don't know the content in the ones I haven't read. I believe these are all going to either be Christian fiction or clean fiction, and clean fiction meaning there is no open door scenes, there is no strong language. I prefer my books even squeakier than that, so I don't know, but that is what I've been told. I've done research on a bunch of these books that I haven't read because I've spent money on them or I won them in a giveaway and I wanted to make sure it was something I would be interested in and hopefully enjoy. Number 2, of the ones I have read and reviewed of this list, I will have links to where I talked about these books in prior recent reads in the description. I can't link all of the reviews to all of them because I have character limits on the YouTube description section of this video. So I'm just going to link recent reads number 1, I talked about these books. Recent reads number 2, I talked about these books. And in that video, there will be links to all my content reviews. I'm sorry we have to do it in kind of a haphazard way, but it's a lot of books and it would be a lot of links to share. So number 3, all of these books either were won in giveaways, they were gifts I bought myself, but when I buy books for myself, I usually buy from either Amazon if that's the only place it's available, or if there's a really good deal, I'll sometimes do them, but it's usually indie print books that aren't available elsewhere I have to do with Amazon. I also really like Librius. That is my current go-to and has been my go-to for a while for buying new books because of their sales. And then I also pre-ordered some books from Baker Bookhouse. And I think those are the 4 places. Oh, well, I do have Kickstarter books in here as well. I did back some books on Kickstarter and they are in here. And then I have ones coming that we'll discuss as well. But elsewise, it's really just, yeah, those 4 places. Number 4 would be that I'm not recommending all of these books. Obviously, I haven't read them all, so this is not a recommendations video. I have ones that I am keeping out of this, and that's all of them except one that I have read. There's only one book I plan to unhaul because I just didn't enjoy it after buying it. And that's okay, but all the other ones I have reviews, I would recommend those, but I can't recommend the ones I haven't read. Right. Okay. And then number 5, I don't think I'll be asked this, but just in case, what are these containers? They are my washi tape containers for journaling. I have a problem with buying washi tape. These containers are from Hobby Lobby. So, just in case you were curious, what is that? You don't usually see them when I film. You might have seen them in maybe one other video, but that's not something we typically see. So, now, let's get on with the book haul. Woo! The first book I bought in January, I actually still haven't read, so oops to that, but that is Sky of 7 Colors by Rachel Nelson. This is published by Enclave Publishing, so it's not really one, am I sure, is it Christian fiction? Is it clean fiction? I don't know. I do review them on BFCG because I don't know until I really get into them. So I haven't read this one yet, but I've heard good things about this author, and her newest book looks interesting, so I need to read this one, though, to see what I think. We're going to actually move the pillow because we got to do some stacks of books. We're going to organize this by ones I have read and ones I haven't read. Yes, because that will be the easiest for me to put up all these books. On Kickstarter, I backed 2 books, and well, it was really this one, and then this was a bonus buy, and that was Road Trip Redemption by Becca Warville. And then I also grabbed Road Trip Return. I had already read the first book, Road Trip Rescue, and really enjoyed it. This is a Christian fiction middle grade series that has some really good lessons, and I just really loved how realistic the characters were. And I hadn't read this one yet, so I went ahead and grabbed it, and I have read both of these since and enjoyed both of them. Operation Bungaree by J.D. Peabody is book 3 in the Inkwell Chronicles middle grade Christian fiction kind of historical fantasy series, really. It's a trilogy. This was the final book, but it ends kind of open ending where the author could continue it or whatever. But this was a really fun series because it's set in like 1940s, 1950s England, but there is a magical ink that is like the stem of all creativity, like all creative works, whether it be like music, art, writing, books, all of that is created by using this special ink. And of course there are villains out to destroy that ink, and it is up to our main characters and their friends to stop the bad guys. It was a really fun, very inventive series. My next book is A Wishful Hope by Sarah Baran. This is an Aladdin retelling, but kind of gender swapped in a way because our main girl is actually the genie and our main guy is still Aladdin, but like our main girl is not a princess, she's the genie in the lamp that our main guy finds. And I just really enjoyed this. It's kind of clean fiction, it's kind of Christian fiction, it's kind of on the cusp really, because it does have faith content, but it's more of faith content with God has a different name. And I really liked a lot of different aspects about this book. I thought it was so sweet, so heartwarming. I really, really enjoyed it. You know what? We're going to switch and put the ones I haven't read here on the side for the moment because there's not that many. There's not that many. And my clean fiction that I have read is going to go back in the back because there's quite a few fairy tale retellings in this list. My next book is The Two Bells of Christmas by Joanna Barker. This is a clean fiction Christmas Regency novella, and I read it last year and I really enjoyed it, so I wanted to get a copy for my own bookshelves. And it's basically about twin sisters who are very different from each other, that the shy, quiet one has to fill in the place of her very vibrant, bubbly sister when she is under the weather at a house party during Christmas because the one bubbly sister's crush is going to be there and she wants to make a good impression. And you know where that's going to go. I enjoyed it. Another book I got was A Noble Companion by Rachel, and I think we say the author's last name, Kovansini. That's probably not right. She spelt it out for me, but I still stink at pronunciation, so I'm so sorry. This was really good, though. This was a Christian fiction retelling of The Ugly Duckling, but instead of, like, our main perspective is the Ugly Duckling, it is side characters of the Ugly Duckling. And our main girl is having to go on a quest to get a special treasure from a talking dragon's lair, and she ends up going with a guy that has loved her forever, but she is now going to be engaged to his older brother. So that adds in some emotions. But I really liked this one. I've pitched it before as kind of being like the Josefina American Girl books meets Love Comes Softly, meets a little bit of Dora the Explorer in a way, but like in a good way. I don't know, it worked. It was very unique. I've not really read anything like it before, and I really enjoyed it. So I splurged, and I bought Deborah Grace White's other fairy tale retelling series that I read back in January, and then I had to have copies because I really enjoyed them. So that would be Song of Ebony, which is a Snow White retelling. Song of the Sea, which is a Little Mermaid retelling. Song of Winds, which is East of the Sun, West of the Moon. Song of Winds, and East of the Sun, West of the Moon retelling. This is by far my favorite retelling of that story. This was really good. And then we also have Song of Moonrise, which is a Little Red Riding Hood retelling. Song of Trails, which is a Hansel and Gretel, and it's like siblings, so I really loved their dynamics. And then the 6th book in that series was Song of Vines, which is a Jack and the Beanstalk retelling, but gender swapped. Our main girl is Jack, if you will, and the love interest is the Crown Prince. And I love it when the Crown Prince is the love interest. Like, hi, I'm Lindsey, that's a trope I love. And so I bought all 6 of these because I had already read them on Kindle Unlimited and greatly, greatly enjoyed them. They are a magical fairy tale retelling series where the magic comes from the ground and you sing to use it. And I thought it was a really neat series. It started a little slow for me with books 1 and 2, but I absolutely adored 3, 6, and 5. Like in that, no, 6 was my favorite. 6, 3, and 5. If we had to like rank my top 3, I'd rank it that way. With that Deborah Grace White series though, she actually has a trilogy that is a kind of, not really a spin-off, and it's not really connected, but there is an island in that series that we are told about, but we don't really ever get to visit until you read this trilogy. And this is not a fairy tale retelling trilogy, but it's just a fun fantasy trilogy, and that's A Splintered Land, A Fractured Song, and A Shattered Reign. And I've talked about this series for a while now because I really enjoyed them. I just like binged them within a few days, and they were also available on Kindle Unlimited, but I really enjoyed them. Again, it has to do with like the magic users are called singers, and they can sing and pull the music up from the ground and use the magic. Yeah, she explains it so much better than I just did. I really enjoyed the series though. It has a lot of like political intrigue and like journeys and action and like the slow burn romance as well, which I really enjoy. So yeah, I enjoyed these. The author was super sweet to send me these 2 books, and that is My Refuge and My Way by Ashley Alice Salibi. I read and reviewed this first book and I really enjoyed it, and she offered to send me a copy for my bookshelf, so thank you again so much. And she also included the second book of the series, and I haven't read this one yet, so I need to read this one soon. I'm thinking I'm going to read it within the next couple of months because the cover feels like fall to me. I don't know if it's set in the fall, but it feels like it could be. So I'm looking forward to reading it. It is a Christian fiction, kind of lower YA, but I think anyone in the YA market would enjoy it. And it's about 4 different girls who are living in very different circumstances and how they all have someone in their life that leads them to the Lord, and how the Lord is just loving them through all of the craziness that they are going through. And I really enjoyed this first book, so I can't wait to read the second book. Just Ella by Annette K. Larson is one of my favorite books this year, I have to say. I enjoyed a lot of different aspects about it. This is a clean fantasy book with no magic. It is not a fairy tale retelling, but it kind of has that feel of that medieval time period with, like, you know, kingdoms and princesses and princes and princesses and like all that kind of thing. But there's not really any fantasy element besides that. It's like a fictional world, I guess, if that makes sense. And so I greatly enjoyed this one. This was a recommendation I gave y'all in the spring because it definitely has a springtime feel to it. Our main girl though is a princess, and the main guy, the love interest, is the gardener. And as a gardener, I love it when we have gardening and gardens and flowers and plants and just like, I love all that, right? That's very much my cup of tea. But the emotions this book gave me, because there is angst. Oh, there is good angst and just like hard angst. And I was on an emotional roller coaster as I read this book. It was really good. I felt so worn out by the end of this book, but I really, really enjoyed it. I've read book 2 since, and we're going to haul that one in a minute, but I enjoyed that one as well. I haven't read the rest of the series yet. Of Legends and Roses by Ashley W. Slaughter is book 1 in the Crowned Chronicles. Number 1, this cover, stunning. I haven't read this one though. I believe it's clean fiction. I won it in a giveaway, and I haven't read it yet, so I need to read it. I'm hoping to read this one maybe in the fall. I really want to try to do better at reading the books I own. It's a thought. It's a thought. We'll see if it happens, but I hope to read this one at some point. Another one I haven't read that I want in a giveaway is Saints and Monsters by Ellen McGinty. I have heard a lot about this book, but I haven't read it. All I know is like there's dragons, and it's set in kind of like a not dystopian. It's set in like a Japan Asian setting because the author actually lives in Japan, but I don't really like know too much about this one. I've kind of avoided hearing because I want to just like read it for myself, you know? So I haven't read this one yet, but this is on my list to get to definitely this year. Ties of Legacy by Melanie Sellier was one of my most anticipated releases for 2025. And so obviously I bought a copy as soon as I could. because I really enjoyed it, but it is on Kindle Unlimited. It is part of the Tethered Heart multi-authored series, which none of those books are connecting, but this is technically book 1.5 in the Kingdoms of Legacy series by this author, which is such a good series. I am enjoying that series so much. I greatly enjoyed this one. We're going to talk about book 2 because I've hauled that one as well for the Kingdoms of Legacy series, but this is technically book 1.5, and this is a kingdom where it's not really a fairy tale retelling per se, but you have these 6 kingdoms, and each one of those kingdoms has like an original history or an origin story of a fairy tale. And because of that fairy tale, they are kind of still having like the after effects of it. So let's see. In the Beauty and the Beast Kingdom, which was book 1, that country the only flower that grows there are roses. If there is a beast in the forest, it's going to be protected because, hello, yeah, Beauty and the Beast. And book 2, the Cinderella one, they can make amazing glass work, but they also have mice as big as horses. And their pumpkins grow enormous. So it's like very creative. I've greatly enjoyed this series so far. I'm so looking forward to the 3rd book in August. But this is kind of like a bonus book. And it was really good. Really enjoyed this one. So much fun. A Noble Comfort by Katya H. I'm going to pronounce the author's name wrong, and this is a dear friend of mine, so I don't want to mess up her name. I'm so sorry, girl. But this is a Bluebird retelling, which I was not familiar with at all, but I really enjoyed this one. This is Christian fiction, kind of like new A, I guess you could say. New adult? Yeah, I guess you could say that, but I think it would work for some YA readers as well. It was very clean, but it does deal a lot with being content in your circumstances, and there's not really a romance in this book, which I really liked, actually, because I read a lot of books that have romance threads. It's really nice to have one that doesn't, and so I really liked this one for multiple reasons. A Noble Life by C.K. Hartwing. This is a Snow White and Rose Red retelling for Christian fiction. It was also a part of the Cornerstone series that A Noble Comfort and A Noble... what was it? What was the other one? I just went blank. Companion. A Noble Companion. They all were a noble something, so I get them mixed up. I remember them better by their colors. Fun fact. I've read them all. I did buy some of my favorite ones, and so this was one of them. It was really good. I liked the sister bonds and just different elements of it that I can't say because of spoilers, but I did enjoy this one. One book I do not have yet because it was a Kickstarter launch, so I don't have it yet. That would be Rising from the Galaxy by A.E. Hendricks. This is book 3 in the trilogy, and I can't think what the trilogy's name is. I will put it up there. But I enjoyed book 1 and book 2 of this trilogy, so I was really looking forward to this 3rd one. And I think it's coming in August. I ordered a paperback of it, so looking forward to reading it. After reading The Mystery of the Clockwork Sparrow and just the whole Mysteries of Sinclair series by Catherine Woodfine, I picked up the spin-off series, and that would be the Taylor and Rose Secret Agents series. So I don't think this series is necessary if you've only read the first 4 books in the original series, but if you like those, you may also enjoy these. I would recommend these maybe for a little older than the original series because there's a little more harrowing events and stuff to keep up with in this series. But that would be Peril in Paris, Spies in St. Petersburg, Villains in Venice, and Nightfall in New York. There is also a novella that goes in between 2 and 3, I think, and I haven't read it. I do own it on Kindle, but the physical copy will be coming out here in the States in November, I think. October or November. It's already out in the UK, because this is a British series, but I haven't read that one yet, but I did read these. I liked them. I didn't love the ending, I will admit, but overall I did think this was a really fun series. So I have read them. I will be keeping them. They're really pretty covers, I have to say. After I read this book, I had to pick up a copy, and that was Ties of Starlight by Celeste Baxendale. This is so unlike really anything I've talked about on this channel before, because it has to do with elves, but then also a really big spoiler that I can't say, but I do think it might be like a deal breaker for some readers, and that's understandable. For me though, I thought it was very interesting with all the fantasy elements, and I enjoyed a lot of different parts of it. I felt like this book was thicker because I was so enthralled in this book. Like when I got my physical copy, I was like, oh, how many pages is this? And it's just over 300, but it felt like so much more in a good way. Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense, but that's how I felt because I read it on Kindle Unlimited. are you sensing a theme? A lot of these books are on Kindle Unlimited. I make use of my Kindle Unlimited subscription, and then I have to buy trophy copies. It's a problem, I know. But I really enjoyed this one. I was very, like, shocked and odd, I guess you could say, at all the different twists. But basically it says a heartbroken king, a jilted bride, and a star-crossed wedding. It was good. It was good. I don't think it's going to be everyone's cup of tea, but I greatly enjoyed it. And we're already getting tall up there. Might have to rethink some things. I did pre-order Mistletoe and Mayhem by Janice Thompson, who is one of my all-time favorite authors. That is her newest book, and the final book in the trilogy, the Little Red Truck Mystery Series, which has been a cozy mystery series I've really been enjoying. And that is releasing September 1st, so I don't have it yet, but I did pre-order it from Baker Bookhouse. So a different book that I pre-ordered and I did get was The Curious Inheritance of Blakely House by Joanna Davidson Politano. This is Christian fiction, and in such a unique storyline. It's historical fiction, but you almost have like a little bit of a steampunk element to it. And even though the cover looks perfect for fall, it's actually set in the spring. And then there's kind of like pirates, and then airships, and I don't know. This was just fascinating. I enjoyed a lot of different parts of this one. I gave it 4 stars. I greatly enjoyed it. I liked a lot of different parts of it, yeah. There's so much about this book. Like, how do I explain this book in 20 seconds? I don't think I can. I attempted just now, but it's kind of rambly. So, I tried. It's really good, though. Christian fiction, one of the most unique ones, I think, out there. And it was just really, really neat. Joanna Davidson Politano's writing style is... I don't feel like there's a comparison to her writing style, at least not that I've experienced, particularly in the Christian fiction market. And this one, I think... It might be a favorite. It is a favorite but by this author. But I'm trying to think, like, the ranking. I would have to reread, I think, a couple of her older books. But I really liked how this one was paced well. I don't know. I'm rambling. It was really good. Leap Day in the Square by Erin Mangum, one of my all-time favorite authors. This is her brand new series, Holidays in Hillview. And this was so good. So much fun. I greatly enjoyed this one. 4.5 stars. This is about Lucy, and she really only wants 2 things in life. 1, to open her cotton candy truck just in time for her town's Leap Day celebration in the square. And then also, she wants to avoid Ben from high school. You know that's not going to go well. But it gets even worse when the new health inspector for her town... Guess who that is? Yes. Erin Mangum writes the best Christian fiction, contemporary books, rom-com books, whatever you want to call them. I think she is the queen of them, and I am forever talking about her books because I enjoy them so very much. The faith content is just fantastic in her books, and then you've got such good humor and just so many parts I love. And even more so with the faith content is that there is such a good message of forgiveness in this book. And usually when it comes to the whole I can't stand you trope, or they've been holding a grudge against each other for so many years, I usually roll my eyes at that because I'm just like, okay, y'all are being ridiculous. But I didn't in this book. I don't know how a favorite author can take a trope you usually dislike and make it so good, but Erin Mangum did that. Excellent book. Book 2 is coming out hopefully soon. A Lesson in Propriety by Jen Toronto. Probably didn't say that right. That is a really hard word for my tongue. I don't know why. It's just one word that my brain just malfunctions. It's like when I see the word Colonel, like Colonel Mustard, when I play the game of Clue, he's Mr. Mustard for the rest of the thing. I cannot say that word when looking at it. It just doesn't work. I don't know why. That's how it is. So anyway, though, this is by Jen Toronto. This is book 1 in her new series, The Merriweather Academy for Young Ladies. And this is just a romp of a good time. It's just fun. It's set in like the 1880s. And the different things that Jen Toronto's characters get herself into, it's crazy. It's crazy, but it's so fun and amusing, and I am really looking forward to the rest of this series. The main guy in this book was such a sweetheart. He was just like a solid, good male lead. He is the older brother of like 5 girls, and you can definitely see their influence on him, and he was just a sweetheart, but like a protective sweetheart, and I love that. And she was great, very zany. Her mother is something else, and her sister is also something else, and they are going to go open an academy for young ladies, which it was really fun. I really enjoyed this one. Rapunzel's Gambit by Mary Meekum is... Oh, I have my map. Ha ha ha. Cool. Love maps. I forgot I had a map in this book, and now I've just been like staring at it for the last 3 minutes. I love a good map. That should be a requirement. If you are a fantasy book, you have to have a map. Can that be a law? That should be a law. Wait a second. Wait a second. Wait a second. Wait, this is set in the same world of Assassin and Fire and Sacrifice. Am I just now realizing this? What? What? Yes! Oh my goodness, it is. It is. How did I not catch that? Did I catch that? I don't think I caught that. Okay, well that's fun. So this is Rapunzel's Gambit by Mary Meekum, who wrote Assassin of Fire and Sacrifice, which I greatly enjoyed. And the map that came with the pre-order goodies of this book, because I pre-ordered it through the author, has... Oh, it's got the country for them. Okay, cool. Then I foresee we're going to get more books set in this world, and I'm excited for that. I'm going to guess, because there's a lot of countries there. Anyway, this is a Rapunzel retelling, but instead of being a damsel in distress, this princess Rapunzel is going to make others be in distress. Because her father has bartered off her hand to anyone who can kill the dragon that is plaguing their land. And she's just like, excuse me, what? And so she ends up staging her own kidnapping and going and partnering with the dragon. It was fun. I did see some of the twists coming, which I was very excited for, because this author writes such good twists that usually take me by surprise. I was like on alert and on guard to figure out what was going to happen in this book, and I got some of them. So I was excited. I really enjoyed this one as well. The cover is so pretty, even with the scary, creepy dragon. He was very scary, but I enjoyed this one. I wish we would have had more at the end, because I wanted more, basically. But I also had some questions that I think deserve more pages in a book, personally. The Unlikely Intrusion of Adam's Klein by John Greco. This was it's published by a Christian fiction publisher, but I can't say I really saw a lot of Christian content in it personally myself. I didn't really care for this one. I think it just really wasn't my cup of tea. I pre-ordered it because I thought my library wouldn't get a copy in, but they ended up getting a copy in, so there went that plan. So I'm going to pass it along to a book friend, I think, but I didn't really enjoy this one. It wasn't really my cup of tea. It was kind of like sci-fi, futuristic stuff, and I can sometimes like those, but I don't know. This just felt kind of boyish to me. And I'm a girly girl, if that wasn't apparent by the pink chair, the frilly floral dress. It just really wasn't my thing. You might like it. You can look into it if you want to. It wasn't my personal thing. One book that definitely was my cup of tea, though, was Keep 'em Flying by Neil Branham. This is book 1 in the Heroes on the Homefront Mysteries series, and I really, really, really enjoyed this book. I ended up giving it 4.5 stars, which is saying quite a bit. This is a Christian fiction middle grade book, but I think younger YA readers would enjoy it as well. Basically, we follow Riley, and she is in 6th grade, and she has written a report for a historical society about her, I think it was her great-grandmother, that was a Rosie the Riveter during World War II on the home front. And so she enters into that contest, and the grand prize is a trip to this museum in Kansas City, and in Kansas City there's a mystery happening at this museum, and so Riley gets involved, and it was just so fun. I really, really enjoyed this one. It had such a patriotic story to it, and then just the respect and honor for the veterans and those who have fought for our freedom. I truly, truly loved that message, and seeing it in this book, it was really good. I can't wait to read book 2 soon. Legacy of Glass by Melanie Sellier. This is book 2 in the Kingdoms of Legacy series. I mentioned book 1.5, which was Ties of Legacy. This is book 2, a Cinderella tale. It's not really a retelling, like I said. The series is a little different, but I enjoyed this one a lot. Not as much as book 1 or book 1.5, but I still did really, really enjoy it. And I'm running out of room, so we're going to create a new stack so we don't have things falling. On Kickstarter, I splurged big time, and I bought the hardback special editions of the Gallimere Chronicles by Gabrielle Lindsey. So there is the novella Pined Up collection, and that is Tales of Cake and Comfort. Book 1. Book 1 is Once Upon an Apple, and it says a lord's son, a milkmaid, and 7 mischievous goats. This one is really cute. This is actually the only one I've officially read, but I hope to read these other ones very soon because this one was just so cute. It was very like fairy tale retelling. This one had no magic. I think the third one does, but this one did not. And it had kind of like a nostalgic Barbie feel, like the old Barbie movies. It almost felt like that. Like it was a cozy fairy tale retelling with Barbie vibes. I don't know. It was fun. And so behind all of these dust jackets is the same cover, which I love that personally. I think that's quite fun. Book 2 is Once Upon a Rose, and it says a cursed lord, a feisty librarian, and their baby dragon. The baby dragon is the selling point, isn't it? And then we also have Once Upon a Pumpkin, which is obviously a Cinderella retelling, and that says a missing duchess, a stable boy, and a magical ball. And this one is actually releasing in November, I think, so by backing the Kickstarter, I received my copy early, and I am so excited to continue on with this series. They are so, so pretty. I definitely splurged when I bought these. I don't really want to separate these yet, but I have read one of them, but I'm going to stick them all here. Just because I love seeing them together. I just got those like last week, so like, I just keep staring at them. Because that's what you do when you buy books, right? I Wish I May by Adeline Burlington is a clean fiction, kind of fairy tale retelling. You get Cinderella vibes from it, and Cinderella is one of my favorite fairy tales, so I was very excited to pick up on those little notes. But this follows Zelda, and that's Zelda, and she is actually a part of a academy for fairy godmothers in training, and she is trying to like get her wings and all of that, and she has her first godchild, ward, whatever word you want to use, and that ends up being the very handsome crown prince who is her age. Yes, it was enjoyable. There was a couple little things here and there I didn't personally love about this book, and I've talked about it in other videos, but I did give this one 4 stars. I was fully sucked into this book and so immersed into it. I love a good academy setting, boarding school setting, and just the idea of a boarding school for fairy godparents, or like fairy godmothers, that was really neat. So it kind of had Ever After High vibes to it, and I enjoyed that as well. One fun surprise though in this paperback that I didn't know is all the doodles in the front and back. Isn't that so cute? It's so cute. The author is doing a special hardback edition, and honestly I'm probably going to buy it because I really liked this book. So I wanted the paperback though because that's all I could get right now. And I enjoyed it. Okay, I enjoyed it. Not only did she do the doodles up here, like this isn't really doodles, this is art in my opinion. Like I think it's very impressive. She also drew the cover, illustrated the cover, and then at each chapter there is this really neat silhouette, and I just love that. I love how girly that is. It's just so fun and feminine. I love it. Snapdragon by Sarah Baran is a retelling of Thumbelina, and then the Persephone? I don't know Greek mythology. That's like, not my thing. But I really enjoy books by this author, Sarah Baran, and I like Thumbelina, so I thought I would read this one, and I actually read it as the Kindle edition on Kindle Unlimited, I think it was, and then I got the special hardback because there was a bonus epilogue, and then there's art. Look how cute they are. Oh, they're so cute. They're so cute. So, yes. Suit and Slipper by Kate Stradling is one of my favorite Cinderella retellings, and this is just like a short little novella, and it was so very good. I gave it 4.5 stars when I read it earlier this year, and so obviously I needed a physical copy. Needed. Obviously. It was a want, but I wanted a physical copy. There. I'll be grammatically correct. Ariandri, I think is how we say her name, and The Legend of the Fire Rose by Christy A. Cole. This is actually a book written by a dear booktube friend, and I haven't read it yet. I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't know, but I want to read it soon. I actually don't know really anything about it. I know I have a lot of other booktube friends who have read it and really, really enjoyed it, so I've kind of been like avoiding any potential spoilers or information, and I just bought it, so I want to read it very soon. Missing Lily by Annette K. Larson. This is book 2 in the series that Just Ella is in, and this is following her sister, and this one has mistaken identities, but then also heartbreak and more heartbreak and angst. I think this author writes angst really well. It's very YA, but in a way I really, really like it. We Will Be Heroes by Megan McCullough. I'm so sorry, you know me, I don't do well with names. This is book 2 in a duology where I have read book 1 and I enjoyed it, but I haven't read book 2 yet, even though it's been out for a while. So I'm hoping within the next couple of months to reread book 1 and continue on with the series. Hope's Enduring Echo by Kim Vogel-Sawyer is a Christian fiction historical book that was so sweet and so incredibly faith-filled. It was lovely. This follows our main girl whose name is Ginny, and because of her father being unable to work, she has taken over his job of walking all over the Colorado mountains to check the pipes. Something like that. I don't know how to explain it, but it was a very interesting topic to learn about. So like they are on the outskirts of town and there is like a river and all these pipes take that water to the town, but somebody has to walk them every day to make sure there's no like damage or like screws loose or anything like that. And it was so interesting to learn about that because I've never really thought about that, I guess you could say, before. And so it's set in 1915. And so we have that element, but then she happens to meet Leo, and Leo is of course the love interest, and he is studying his paleontology, I think is what that was, the dinosaur bone hunting. That's basically what he's looking for in Colorado in her area. And so she gets to be his guide and they have a friendship. But it's not like just romance based. There is a ton of faith content. It was beautifully done. We have the mother-daughter relationship between Ginny and her mom, and then the complex emotions with her dad, and then Leo with his family. It was just a really, really good book. Romancing Her Rival by Joanna Barker. I actually recently read this one here at the beginning of the month, and I thought this one was pretty cute. I gave it 3.5, 4 stars. Basically, our main girl, Daphne, has always been told that she is going to inherit her aunt's estate, but now when she actually really needs that inheritance, the aunt has given that inheritance to our main girl's very, very good friend who lives and works on her aunt's estate. And so there's problems with that, obviously, and he has always loved her, but the whole status difference doesn't really work in their play now, does it? So overall, I thought this one was pretty cute. Friends in Strange Places by Nell Branham. This is book 2 with the Keep 'em Flying being book 1. Haven't read this one. I will be getting to this one within the next couple of weeks for sure. The Beast of Bramberley Bald. Now, what is Bramberley Bald? I don't know. Oh, it's a mountain. Back cover tells you it's a mountain. Good to know. It's a mountain in North Carolina. So some of y'all in North Carolina will probably screaming the answer at me like a 2-year-old watching Dora the Explorer. But here we are. This is book 5 in the Tree Street Kids series by Amanda Clary Eastup. And I actually just read book 4 last night as of filming this video. So I'll be getting to this one here in July and I'm looking forward to it. This has just been a very kind of nostalgic series, even though like it's newly published. It's set in 95, so it just has that classic childhood riding your bike in the summer, going to VBS vibe, if you will, and I've thought that was really fun. So I'm looking forward to continuing on and reading this one in July. The Keeper of the Tower by Michaela Bush. This is book 5 in the Legends of Lenaria series. I know. The ending of this book. I'm just sad. I don't, like, the final book in this series is coming out in November, and the author's going to be doing a big bind-up of the whole series. It's really good. It's Christian fiction, non-magical, YA, new A, and it's a really good series for, like, if you want to see good fight evil and win. This has been a really good series for that. I've enjoyed a lot of different elements of it. The Lady of Lenaria was book 1 in this series, and if you've been on my channel for any amount of time, you've heard me probably talk about that book. I greatly, greatly enjoy it. It is my all-time favorite Rapunzel retelling, and so this is just like continuing on with the series, not really in fairy tale retellings. It's got a lot of like political intrigue, there's wars, there's lots of things happening. Betrayal, anxiety on my part, lots of different parts, but I've been really enjoying this series. So this was book 5, had to get a copy. Toxic Empathy by Allie Beth Stuckley. I have not read this book, but I've read what feels like a ton of quotes by it from this author's Instagram. And I don't really do podcasts, but I've listened to a few of her podcast episodes. I own her other book. I have not read it. So at one point when I'm in a nonfiction mood, which is like as rare as a blue moon, I'm going to read this one and probably gain a lot of knowledge from it. And then to finish off this video, we have 6 books in the Cobble Hill Farm Mystery Series. And so I've only read one of them so far, and that would be book 10, Snake in the Grass by Elizabeth Penny. I've read this one. Haven't read these other ones, but I'm only reading like one a month, so I will get these done before the end of the year. Okay, I don't know if I have these in the right order. I have them, I think, maybe in the right order, but I'm not going to count on it. So, A Will and a Way by Johnny Alexander. Caught in a Trap by Beth Adams. Stray from the Fold by Cynthia Rucci? I'm not sure how to pronounce the author's last name. Of Bats and Belfries by Shirley Ray Redmond. Okay, so I just noticed on the title, you've got this line here, not on any of the other ones, and you've got it up here, and you also have it on the author's name at the bottom, like it was like the clip, not the clip art, but like pasted in, and it's, oh, that's terrible. Well, maybe one day that will be worth millions, this copy, maybe. Who will know? Who knows? Not me. Oh no, I wonder, I hope they caught that. They probably caught that, right? So, Of Bells and Belfries by Shirley Ray Redmond. Oh no, poor things. Oh, that would be so frustrating to publish a book and do all that work and then there's something wrong with either the cover, the inside, a typo. My type A perfectionist self could not stand that. And then we also have Borrowed Trouble by Cheyenne Leo. I'm very much looking forward to this one because I accidentally read the back cover and I know what's coming. And that's book 15 though, so I have to wait. And then finally, I did back the special edition hardcover, hardback, cloth-bound special edition of Wormwood Abbey by Christina Bayer on Kickstarter, and that is currently still going, and we have unlocked, I think, every stretch goal there is, so if you really want a special edition of that book, definitely check it out. It ends on July 8th, I believe, so I will put that in the description if you want to join in. I'm so excited for that book. I don't think it's coming till spring of 26, but I had to pre-order my copy because I'm very, very excited for it. So that is all the books I have bought or received in 2025 so far. It's roughly about 60 books. I didn't count exactly. I think it's a little over 50, so we'll say about 60 because I had some pre-orders in there as well. And yeah, I think that's pretty good. I know that probably still seems like a lot, and it is. I'd like to cut it down just a little bit more personally. But if you compare it to my past book wrap, my book hauls and past videos, there was a lot more. There was at least 30 more for a 6-month period. So I think I've cut down a little bit. So I'll take wins where I can get them. So as always, I would love to know if you've read any of these. Do you want to read any of them? Let me know in the comments. I hear thunder coming, so I'm going to sign off and go dance in the rain. And I hope y'all have an absolutely lovely rest of your day. I am Lindsey from the blog booksforchristiangirls.blogspot.com, where there's a new review every Wednesday and Friday. I try to post a new video on this channel every Friday. And then I am also on Instagram under Books for Christian Girls, where I talk only about Christian fiction. And then I also have my personal bookstagram, which is Book Reviews by Lindsey, where I talk about Christian fiction and clean fiction and just like what I'm reading, kind of more personal updates for book reading, I guess you could say. And then let's see, I'm on Goodreads and TikTok, Facebook, and we have a newsletter for BFCG, so I will link all that information down below. And I hope you have an absolutely lovely rest of your day. Bye, y'all!